Okay, in order to demonstrate what to do with your overhead, I'm going to do this video is going to look a little different than others. So with some kind of straight edge, a ruler will work fine. We're going to start by drawing a translation vector. So you know what one is. So it has a beginning point and an ending point. And we'll call this one A, B. Okay, so there's our translation vector. And I want to show you what happens when we translate a point. So let's do our point P over here. I'll label it point P. So what we want to do is find the image of P under our translation. And so I'm going to use tracing paper because I'm not going to get as much glare, I think. So I'm going to try this. But you have your overhead sheet. So we have got, so what I want to do is I want to trace everything onto my overhead sheet or tracing paper. So my vector ends up right here. Okay, so there's A and B. And I also want to get point P here on, on that. And what I want to do now is I'm going to move along this vector, and I want point A to become where point B is. And so kind of a useful thing to do for this is to draw, I'm going to do it using pencil, but extend your vector. Draw the line that contains the vector. Okay, so using your straight edge, do that. And that'll help me keep my direction going in the right, keep me going in the right direction. Okay, so let's line everything up again. So there we go. So I'm just going to take my this entire sheet and slide it. So I'm sliding, which is what a translation is, right? I'm sliding it up in the direction of the vector, the length of the vector. Because remember, that's what the vector tells us, is how far and in what direction. And so now I've got this, I can see where my P was. And now this is my translated point, my image. And so I'm going to mark it. So to do that, I've got to kind of lift up my overhead sheet, draw it, draw my point, and then I'm going to label it. I kind of was off a tiny bit here. I think this is easier to do with your overhead sheet because you can actually see through it. But there it is. So there is my image, and I'm going to call it, since my translation I'm calling T, this is translated point P. So that's our image, and that's the original. I'm going to put a link on this video and also send it in email to an online video of this too, so you can see it again. But let's just do it one more time, just so we know how we found that translation. So we traced our vector and we traced our point, and then we slid in the direction of the vector, the length of the vector, so that the beginning point matched up with the ending point, and then we were able to mark our translated point. So that's a translation.